Welcome to Fun Factory Gaming. Silent Hill 2 Remake is a true masterpiece in the world of video games. It revisits the original classic with a new vision, brilliantly interpreting its legacy for today. It maintains the essential elements that defined it as a landmark in psychological horror, especially in the way it creates and sustains anxiety. But it goes beyond that. The new version brings a deeply intimate touch to the narrative, intensifying the emotions and complexity of the player's experience. It does not just pay homage to the impact the game had in its time, but takes the narrative to another level, building an even deeper and more engaging connection with those who dare to explore its mysteries. This is my passionate introduction to Silent Hill 2 Remake, a project that could not be more extraordinary. Bluer team exceeded all expectations, proving that they were up to the task of revitalizing this timeless classic, making it shine like never before. The task was daunting, almost impossible, and many questioned their ability to honor the legacy of the original. However, to the relief and joy of all who love this video game universe, the team managed to create something memorable. It is exciting to live in an era where we can witness the rebirth of an icon with such mastery and dedication. As a horror game enthusiast, I was completely hooked on Dead Space Remake, and now Silent Hill 2 Remake is yet another shining pearl that has come to the surface.
Is she really alive?
When I played the original in 2001, much of what I experienced has been blurred by time, leaving only vague memories. Even so, I know that its impact was tremendous. I also had the privilege of playing the first Silent Hill in 1999, which served as a launching pad for this extraordinary sequel. Now with this remake, it is as if all those dormant memories have been revitalized, allowing me to rediscover, in an even more intense way, what made this title an eternal icon. What is Silent Hill 2 after all? It is a deeply human story of sadness, loss, and the relentless search for liberation. It is about the desire to find a justification for loss, and the longing to reunite with those we love, those who miss us, those who fill the void in our hearts. James Sunderland, the protagonist, is a man who carries within himself the pain of an unbearable emptiness, and it is this pain that leads him to a desperate search for his wife, who he believes, almost absurdly, is still alive, or at least that something transcendent can bring her relief. At its core, it is a search as simple as it is universal, the search for the warmth of love, the only thing capable of saving everything and everyone, of giving meaning to anguish and filling what is most deeply missing. The silent quest in Silent Hill 2 Remake is a journey built with a careful cadence, allowing the player to immerse themselves deeply in the environment and narrative. Each moment is designed to give time and space to introspect, adapt, and absorb the details of the dark world unfolding around us. The game creates a natural progression of difficulty that feels organic and unhurried as it guides us through an experience that unfolds almost seamlessly. All the iconic elements of the original are present, but now enhanced and polished for this new version. The heavy and haunting atmosphere has been transformed into a glorious and immersive journey. The first steps are of recognition, of adapting to the gameplay, the characters, and the enemies. Little by little, the player understands what they can do and what is expected of them. All in a subtle way, without impositions, which allows a natural connection and intimacy to be developed in the game. The alternation between moments of intense exploration and others of deep reasoning returns masterfully in Silent Hill 2 Remake. The puzzles, as you would expect, are present, but now they are more fascinating than ever. What the team has managed to achieve is truly impressive. Each puzzle seems to organically merge with the environment, creating a perfect symbiosis between the explorable areas and the challenges themselves. As we solve the puzzles, it is as if the world molds itself around us, adapting and transforming in response to the puzzles presented, or vice versa, with the puzzles reflecting the evolution of the environment itself. This harmony was already striking in the original, But in the remake, it reaches an almost immaculate level. It is a perfect dance between exploration, mystery solving, and obstacles, including enemies, all designed to deliver an experience that is as fluid as it is challenging. The challenges aren't limited to meticulously crafted puzzles. Enemies play an equally important role. The original versions of these creatures have been retained, but each one has been reworked to make them even more terrifying. The range of monsters is now more terrifying than ever, from the disturbing lying figure to the macabre bubblehead nurses and the unpredictable mannequins to the imposing mandarins. Each of these encounters keeps you on your toes, as their design and movement are now even more chilling. Resurrected with a new layer of terror, these enemies force us to carefully study each encounter. Knowing how to anticipate their attacks and choosing the right moment to attack or dodge is vital to survival. Each encounter is a dance between fear and strategy, an experience that always keeps us on the edge. The most surprising thing is the way in which the difficulty of the enemies adapts to our progression, giving a sense of growth and challenge that develops almost imperceptibly. As we progress, we feel that the enemies become more challenging, but at the same time, our actions become more effective and precise. This progression is so natural that it feels organic, as if the game is following our development and adapting to our evolution. Each encounter is carefully designed to reflect this balance, giving the feeling that the increase in difficulty is always fair and motivating. You feel the weight of each evolution you make, and at the same time, the increasing threat of the enemies. It is like a dance between our ability and the obstacles we face, which creates an even more intense involvement as we master the challenges that appear. All of these components are given a new dimension through stunning visuals and impeccable sound work. From the very first moment, the visual impact is tremendous. Although there are image issues, such as occasional defects caused by the aggressive implementation of image scaling in the PS5's performance mode, nothing can overshadow the visual spectacle offered. The fog, one of the most iconic elements of the series, is recreated magnificently, transporting us to that unsettling world. Every detail has been carefully crafted, from the exteriors full of nuances to the interiors of the buildings, which are rich in detail, giving a sense of depth and weight to each space. The darkness, the oppressive tone that dominates every angle is only gently interrupted by the dim light of our flashlight, creating a play of shadows and lights that amplifies the terror. It is a visually glorified experience in which each image resembles a work of art in constant movement. The sound in this remake is without a doubt one of the most impressive aspects and exceeds all my expectations. Bloober Team has managed in an almost inexplicable way to create an extraordinary auditory atmosphere. When the audio is reproduced through headphones, it transports us into the game in such a profound way that at times it is difficult to distinguish between what is virtual and what belongs to the real world. There are times when the noises are so authentic that I found myself removing the headphones to confirm whether the sound was coming from the game or from my own room. This acoustic authenticity, rarely achieved, takes the game to a unique sensory level. In a title that strives to convey the deepest emotions of fear, despair, and anxiety, the quality of the sound not only complements the experience but intensifies it in an almost visceral way. Every sound, every whisper, and every silence is carefully placed to amplify the tension, creating an oppressive atmosphere that grips us from beginning to end. There could not have been a more perfect execution to convey all the emotional and psychological layers of this work. Like many other awesome games, this remake also has its imperfections, especially in performance mode, that are sometimes annoying and disrupt immersion, and is an aspect that could have been more polished. Often the character's position seems to be the determining factor in activating the option to open a drawer or pick up an object, making the action inconsistent and in moments of greater tension, irritating. This shortcoming becomes even more evident when every second counts and the need for speed is called into question by an interaction system that doesn't respond as it should. It's a curious and somewhat inexplicable shortcoming that ends up affecting fluidity, especially in the most intense sections. The transitions between gameplay and cinematics also left me feeling a bit odd at times. As someone who values every detail, especially when it comes to narrative continuity, I felt that some of these transitions fail to maintain a cohesive context. At certain points, it was as if the natural rhythm of the story was abruptly interrupted, leaving a feeling of disconnection. Some scenes seemed to be inserted suddenly, without the logic or fluidity that one would expect in a game so focused on immersion. This creates moments where the credibility of the narrative is lost, breaking the harmony between the action we are controlling and the cinematic sequence that is presented to us, although these are not constant situations. Silent Hill 2 Remake is, without a doubt, a great work that deserves all the praise for Bloober Team. If we consider that the true objective of a game like this is to transport the player to a world where fear becomes perceptible, where the character's anguish hits us hard, and where the narrative challenges us to explore the complex labyrinths of the human mind, then this remake magnificently fulfills its mission. More than a horror game, it is above all a question about the power of love, about how, even in the midst of darkness and despair, there is a glimmer of hope that guides us. In the end, it is this unshakable belief that love, with all its delicacy and immense strength, can be our salvation, even if we are led to commit atrocious acts to achieve it. It is this duality that makes love so powerful and tragic at the same time, the hope of redemption, even at the cost of sacrifices that challenge our own humanity. Silent Hill 2 Remake doesn't just offer us a story to play, but an emotional and psychological journey that leaves a deep mark on us, an experience that will remain engraved in the memory and heart of anyone who dares to go through it. And that's all for this video. Please let me know if you enjoyed it by leaving your comment or giving it a like. Consider subscribing to be informed about future videos. Thank you for your support, and until next video, be happy with Fun Factory TV.